Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Well, a couple days ago, the Georgia High School Association has approved NIL for its high school athletes. So what does that mean? That means that little Joe Blow, who moms work at the Dollar General and dad working down at the factory who's not making a whole lot of money, they just hit the jackpot because their kid is a well-recruited football player, and instead of waiting for him to get to college to make NIL, now he can make it in the county high school. That is great because if you're not aware, a lot of times these same mom and pops, they would try to find a school that would get their kid in a position where they can be seen. Well, as I've said to you before, if you're a great high school football player, you got size and speed and everything else. It doesn't matter if you play on a team that's 0-58. Colleges will find you. And now it's an opportunity for colleges also to come up with ways to recruit these players that currently they're restricted from. So let me go back a little bit. You recall about 2 months ago, it was reported that Texas had came up with a legislative move to block the NCAA from having them create programs for NIL for the universities in their state. Texas A&M had their what's it, plus 12 club, something like that, where you can opt to take some of your contributions to the club and have it for NIL. Well, Arkansas came up with something similar, and it was all stopped a couple of weeks ago when the IRS came and said, well, you can't do that. We don't have any rules in place that makes that legal. So they had to make abrupt changes. But now the NIL is legal in, say, Georgia, which was effective immediately, by the way. Take the University of Georgia. They can contact the local booster club and say, look, let's make a deal. We'll fund you some kind of way, and we want you to funnel this money to this player we're trying to recruit. And it can all be looking legal because it's under NIL. But in reality, it's the University of Georgia that's funding that NIL for that player, which is the same kind of thing that Texas and Arkansas were up to. Now, I'm not saying to you that the University of Georgia would do such a thing, but if Tennessee slips down in Georgia and starts doing something like that, Auburn is famous for getting players out of Georgia. If they come up with something like that, how long do you think it's going to be before the University of Georgia does it? Think about it. So the fact that the NIL is now a boom for the high school players who can get it, it is also a boom for these colleges and their recruiting because they're going to funnel that money and make it look legal. It's been going on for years. So now you got a way now that makes it look all legal. Don't worry about the NCAA no more. Just like the Florida High School Athletic Association has become irrelevant, most of these high school associations are becoming relevant. And the coach itself has to find a way to keep control of his team because you're going to find that some of the players on your team are going to be making more money than the high school coach. The imbalance is way out of whack, and it's going to turn high school sports on its head. Now, speaking of Florida High School Athletic Association, they are also considering ways to get NIL legalized in this state. So, again, a lot of doors are being opened up. It's an exciting time for the parents, especially those that are struggling, and it's going to make a big difference because, you know, I've known kids that had summer jobs and mom took the whole check. Who's to say that they won't take the whole NIL check? I think that will hurt the parents down the line because once the kid gets out of the house and goes to college or the NFL, payback is in order. So parents, you better be careful how you handle this NIL money coming in Georgia because it just may come back to bite you. But I still think it's a great thing for the players to get paid on any level. But when you start talking about the importance of academics, it just don't seem that important anymore, especially to most people. Sports for Real.